Hello, human beings. Michael Taft here on this wonderful Thursday evening. I don't like the way my video seems to be lagging a bit, so tell me if there's a problem with the internet. Please let me know how it's looking there. Looks kind of laggy on this end, so please, in the chat window, let me know if there's an issue, and we'll restart. Anybody? How's it looking there? Okay, thank you. So tonight I am wearing gray. I have a gray shirt, a gray t-shirt, gray hair, gray eyebrows. I am the gray eminence this evening. And tonight we are going to dig in to some details about how we're doing this meditation that's a little bit different. So, if you've been doing, yes, it is, it looks very gray. If you've been doing in the past quite a bit of Vipassana meditation, a la, Goenka or Mahasi or Shinzen or whatever, the way that we're doing the Vipassana in this kind of meditation is a little bit different. So, we'll go through our guided meditation and I'll talk about it in the meditation and then also in the Q&A afterwards. Before we get going, though, I'd like everyone to notice that in the chat window, I put a link to the Discord server that we set up. So if you want to get involved in discussions about these meditations, not while it's live, but afterwards, go ahead and join the Discord server. That link won't work after about a week. I'll get a permanent link in the comments, but that link is good for now. So remember, we've got a Discord server going so we can talk about these meditations. Okay, so if you are all ready, and even if you're not, let's begin our guided meditation. So remember that I want you to, take your glasses off. I leave my glasses on so that I can control the computer console with which I'm, totally manipulating your brain. And but you should take your glasses off so that you don't see me manipulating your brain. I want you to have your glasses off. Don't really stare at the computer screen. With these non-dual guided meditations, it's best if you just gaze with open eyes either at a carpet or the blank wall or maybe just the open space in front of you. So we're not gazing with hard eyes, they're just softly open. It's better in non-dual meditation to have your eyes open. And then, of course, we want to get our posture correct. To have the posture correct, you want to have a lumbar arch, right? So your lower back is curving in. It's concave. Notice if you slump, you go down like that. If you concave your lower back, you're set up straight, right? So make sure you have that concave lower back, the lumbar curve going, and that gets your spine nice and straight. And then from there, you tip your chin forward just slightly, not like way down like that, but just a little tiny bit, as if there's like a grapefruit there and you're just kind of holding it with your chin. And then from there, you can have, the top of your head is nicely kind of like pointed straight up. It's almost as if somebody put like a rope at the top of your head and you're just suspended from the ceiling. It has this wonderful upright suspension feeling to your spine. And then all the soft tissue of your body, all your muscles and bones, besides your spine, are just loose and relaxed. You have your hands in a mudra like this. Left hand underneath is the usual way. A nice mudra like that. That's below your navel. And if you want to do it the like super fancy way, you actually are holding it. You're not resting it on your legs. You're holding your mudra into your belly. And your arms are not out at your side like that. They're tucked back and that'll keep your back from feeling strained. Okay, so getting this posture correct is really important. So get yourself all arranged, get everything ready, make sure all your notifications and stuff are off. And so now we're all set. And from here, what I'd like you to do is let's set our intention. Sometimes we do this in a really traditional way, like arousing or rousing bodhicitta. But we can talk about it in a really secular way also, and just say, what I want you to do is recognize that the ground of being is already present. Full non-dual awakened awareness is already present. There's nothing to do in order to generate that. And so because this full non-dual awakened awareness is already present, it's why you're having any experience right now. You can tap into that to feel the confidence and the wisdom and the clarity that is part of awakened awareness. And so because awakened awareness is already present, I want you to bring up a sense of confidence, a sense of knowing what you're doing, a sense of wisdom and clarity, okay? And so even in a secular way, we would say, just imagine how the Buddha would have meditated. Imagine how a bodhisattva would meditate. Imagine how, let's put it this way, a fully enlightened being would meditate. And I want you to just bring that up now and understand that in the core of your being, you already are a fully enlightened being. And so feel that confidence, feel that clarity, and understand that why we're meditating is to, we would say, realize what's already true, right? Understand or connect with your already existing full awakenedness. So just sit with that for a moment, just for a minute, and be with that intention. Okay, good. So there we have it. Now we'll begin the meditation part of the meditation instead of the warm-up part of the meditation. So what I'd like you to do now is your shamatha. Get concentrated, right? Get unified, get your mind unified. You can do this any way you want. You can meditate on a nimitta, you can do a visualization, you can do mantra, you could do fire kasina, you can do a jhana, you can do whatever meditation you use to get nice and concentrated. For the group, what I would suggest we do is simply meditating on the breath. And tonight we're going to do it in a different way. I like to mix it up here. So instead of simply meditating on the breath, I want you to do very slow, deep belly breathing. So not normal breathing, but instead slow, deep breaths where you feel your belly rising, 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 rising slowly. And then on the out breath, collapsing, 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 collapsing slowly. Slow, deep, 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 deep in breath. Long, slow, deep, deep, deep out breath. And of course, do that at your own pace. Breathe in a way that's comfortable for you. But the idea is do slow, deep belly breathing. Right? And I want you to begin to meditate on this slow, deep belly breathing, following every step of the in-breath, not missing a single moment of the in-breath. And remember, what we're following is the feeling in the belly. And the belly is 3D. It's not just in front. We're feeling the feeling in front, but also on the sides and also in back. Feel the belly as if you're inflating a ball. Feel the whole surface and even interior of the ball as it expands on the in-breath. We're not visualizing a ball, right? You're just feeling the belly as a 3D body sensation. And then feeling the whole belly as it contracts, 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 contracts. Okay? And I want you to be with every moment of that. Stay with it all the way on the in-breath. Stay with it all the way on the out-breath. So let's continue with that now. Continue to contact the breath continuously, right? We're staying with it at every moment. But now, once it's continuous, I want you to dig into the details. Feel the details more and more clearly. Every little micro sensation. So, not just the whole expanding and contracting ball of the belly, but every spot in the belly so that it's more and more engaging, more and more engaging. You might also feel it in your chest as the chest expands and contracts. You might also feel it in your nose, but I want you to get so much detail that the brain has no processor cycles left over for anything else. So you're not thinking about anything else. You're not remembering anything else. You're not fantasizing about anything else. You are fully engaged in the process of feeling your breathing. Stay with it. Continuous contact with the breathing. Deep, engaged contact with the sensations of breathing. Getting more and more relaxed and focused, more and more engaged. Keeping the mind on track. You want to use your meta attention so that if the mind goes off track, even for a moment, you notice it right away and bring it back. There's no drifting of any sort. This is about awake awareness, and awake awareness notices if it is off track instantly. So we keep ourselves fully engaged. Okay, good. Now we're going to switch from focusing in this way to dropping the ball, right? So let go of all focus and simply be awareness, which is already there, right? So we're just aware of awareness. That's it. Why do I call this dropping the ball? I call it dropping the ball because if awareness starts to meditate on anything, starts to get involved in anything, starts to try to focus on anything, we just drop that. That's the whole technique. So if something, the mind starts getting engaged, just drop it. This is awareness, simply aware of awareness itself. This is not open monitoring. With open monitoring, we're like broadly scanning for sounds and body sensations and kind of continuously monitoring, like the name says, what's going on. That's not what we're doing because open monitoring is still a kind of concentration. It's just very, very broad concentration. Here, we're doing something different than that. And the idea is just don't engage with anything. Of course, things will keep coming up. Thoughts will come up, feelings will come up. The external world, of course, will keep going. Sounds from outside will happen. The bluebird of happiness will fly through your home and poop on the floor, and so on. All that keeps happening. But I want you to simply not engage with it and stay aware only of awareness itself. Awareness itself is stillness. It's spacious. It is soft and open. Okay, so non-engagement with all that's arising and simply being with awareness itself. If you notice yourself engaging, what do? Drop the ball. So the best is don't pick up the ball in the first place. Just leave the ball on the floor. But if through habit or whatever you pick up the ball, drop the ball and come back to simply resting as awareness in awareness. Remember, the ground of being is already there. So we're just resting in the ground of being. Let's keep working with that. Now, of course, if you start thinking about stuff, that's picking up the ball. So just drop it. It doesn't mean you have to stop thinking, just don't pay any attention to your thinking. Come back to just resting as awareness, aware of awareness. Emotions will continue to arise. And again, we're not trying to get rid of them. It's simply that if emotions arise, you're not engaging. Come back to resting as awareness. Over and over again, come back to simply resting as awareness. This is the Shamatha without an object section. Each time you find yourself engaging with something, just simply come back to non-engagement. Resting as bright, clear, crisp, perfectly pristine awareness, unengaged with anything. If your mind keeps asking, what am I supposed to do? What you're supposed to do is stop asking that. If your mind keeps trying to figure it out, the answer is stop trying to figure it out. If your mind keeps asking, how do I do it right? The answer is you do it right by not trying to do it right. Awareness is already aware. You don't need to do anything at all to do it right. And in fact, as soon as you try to do something, as soon as you strategize, as soon as you make an effort, as soon as you evaluate and judge, you're already off track. So You just keep dropping those balls, right? Don't pick them up if you can help it. And if you do pick them up, drop them again and come back to simple being as awareness. If you want to do this with just slightly more effort, some people like just a little more effort, and I'm talking about a very tiny amount, then you use the effort to hold the view, right? To simply have awareness, look at awareness a little more firmly. It's a teeny, teeny, tiny bit of more effort if that works for you, but you don't need to do that. If you want to, you can just rest as awareness. The other thing it's important to remember is do not get all foggy and befuddled and sleepy. Awareness is awake, crisp, clear. So if you notice yourself fogging out, sit up more straight. Open your eyes bigger. Wake yourself up. Awareness is awake. Continuing to rest as bright, crisp, clear, soft, gentle awareness itself. If you're really tuning into it, notice that it is boundaryless and timeless. Notice that it is completely still and immovable. Notice that awareness itself has no center and that nothing in awareness is separate from anything else in awareness. This is awake awareness. This is awake. The whole world simply arises in awareness. Your whole sense of self and the body simply arises in awareness. Don't pick up those balls, however, just allow this vast, spacious, non-dual stillness and clarity to notice itself by itself. Okay, very good. Now what we're going to do is the Vipassana section. Now we're going to go back to doing something. And the thing I want you to do Vipassana on is the sense of self. So now again, making an effort, bring up a sense of self, whatever it is to be you. I don't mean identity like the fact that there's existence at all. I mean, like if in my case, me, Michael Taft, the feeling that comes up when I type something on Twitter and I notice people responding positively and negatively, and there's my personality and ego is involved, right? So bring that up. Your personality and ego, you're the one that is residing in you. And what I want you to do is begin to investigate that. Investigation is what Vipassana means, right? We can translate it as insight or special insight, but you can also translate it to mean investigation. And that's certainly what we're doing when we're doing Vipassana or Vipassana. We're investigating. However, so begin to investigate. Look for the sense of self. Okay, and the first thing that is different here about regular old, about this non-dual Vipassana, notice I'm using the Sanskrit word Vipassana versus regular old Vipassana, using the Pali word, is that we're not doing it from the sense of being located in our head. So difference number one between Vipassana and Vipassana. Awareness itself is doing the investigation. And awareness itself is not located anywhere. It's located everywhere. So in other words, you're not coming from a spot in your head looking around for stuff. It's just awareness is already aware. So the investigation that you're doing is just happening in awareness. Okay? And what I want you to do, I want awareness itself to look for this personality, the sense of self. And when it finds it, just allow awareness to investigate it. What does it investigate? It looks for any permanence, any solidity, any continuously existing reified self. Okay? And this is difference number two. When we're doing dualistic Vipassana, we're always looking for impermanence and no self and perhaps suffering. But we're not doing that in non-dual Vipassana. In non-dual Vipassana, we're only looking for the emptiness of this sense of self, the emptiness of this personality. Okay? So awareness itself, which is like a vast stillness, vast space. And all that space is aware. The awareness is not coming from one spot in space. The whole space is aware. And awareness is aware of personality arising, and awareness then becomes specifically aware of the emptiness of that personality arising. Okay, so when we're doing non-dual Vipassana, we're always looking for emptiness, almost always. There's a couple other things we can look for, but mainly we're looking for emptiness, and we're doing it as awareness, not as attention coming from a spot in the brain or a spot in the head. Allow the space of awareness itself, which is already aware, effortlessly aware, to simply investigate. Okay, so give that a shot, looking at the emptiness of the sense of self. right? So notice how interesting it is when we do Vipassana in this way. It's not coming from anywhere in particular. The awareness is already aware, and this awareness is already everywhere. There is no effort required to be aware. And so all we're doing is being specifically aware of the sense of self and noticing its emptiness. But that does not take this fabricated sense of awareness being located in the head and a beam projecting out from the mind or from the head that's looking at something. Right? Awareness is already aware. So non-dual Vipassana has this wonderful sense of ease and openness. It's not tight. It's not super close focus necessarily. It can be open and just observing this emptiness arising. Okay? So notice the sense of self is empty. That's easy to do when we're meditating, when we're doing the Vipassana, the investigation from awareness as awareness. Now let's switch to a different Vipassana object. Let's do the body sensations of breathing, like we were doing in the Shamatha portion, only now you're meditating on the same object, but we're doing non-dual Vipassana on the same object. So instead of just continuously coming back to it and engaging with it in detail, awareness itself is simply aware of breathing. And of course, since it's Vipassana, it's noticing the emptiness of the breath sensations. Okay, just notice that breathing sensations are coming and going, and they are completely empty. And remember, you're not projecting attention down from the head. There's nothing like that going on. Awareness is effortlessly already aware of the breathing sensations. And so it's more like awareness is aware that breathing sensations are arising in awareness. Awareness is aware that breathing sensations are arising in awareness and that these breathing sensations are empty. They are simply manifestations in awareness, right? Very easy and a very different mood. Notice how different that is than dualistic Vipassana. Keep going now with the breathing sensations, doing non-dual Vipassana. Keep going. Keep feeling those breathing sensations arising in awareness, totally empty, totally fabricated, and then passing away in awareness. And through that entire cycle of arising and passing, they're completely empty. And awareness is simply aware of them. Not coming from any location. Awareness is not located anywhere at all. because it is located everywhere. Okay, good. Now, let's try something even a little more interesting, even a little more difficult, perhaps. But what's great about it is it's going to help us do non-dual Vipassana even better. So, what are we going to do? I want you to notice if there's any sense that awareness is coming from anywhere. And if there is, I want you to investigate that point it seems like awareness is coming from. Allow awareness as space to investigate the point that it seems like awareness is coming from. And remember, when we do non-dual Vipassana, what do we mean when we say we're investigating? We mean allow awareness to notice that that place where it seems like awareness is arising from, that place is empty. And to put it even more clearly in this case, when you try to find that place, you can't. If you say, well, it feels like awareness is coming from my head, and then you have awareness look for the exact spot, the spot will keep moving around. Why? Because you can never actually find it. Why can't you find it? Because there is no spot awareness is coming from. It's something you're creating with your, it's a concept. It's a thing you're creating with your mind. And that's what empty means. Empty means it's just a concept in your mind. So let's take our non-dual Vipassana now and look for any place it seems like awareness is coming from. Now, if you're advanced with this and it already seems like awareness is not coming from anywhere, then what I want you to do is investigate any particular thoughts that are arising. Okay, so that's just for the people who already have no problem with awareness coming from everywhere at once. But if it feels like awareness is located anywhere, even for a moment, I want you to use your non-dual Vipassana, your awareness, and really focus on that sense that awareness is coming from a spot, and look at that spot and notice you can't actually find it. Awareness is not actually coming from that particular spot. It's everywhere at once. And if the spot seems to move, just go and look at the new spot. And if it moves again, go and look at the next spot. That's easy to do because awareness is already located in all of those spots, right? So you just follow it around. If it starts moving really fast, that's fine. Just let it move really fast. Your brain is smart. It will learn, oh, it's just whipping around. But each place I look at, each place awareness investigates, with this non-dual Vipassana, each place that awareness investigates very, very deeply, what does it find? It finds no center of awareness. Awareness is already located everywhere. So notice that now in your own experience. Keep noticing. And as you're doing this, if you still quite haven't got the hang of it, notice that you're looking for the center of awareness with awareness that is outside the center of awareness, right? As you keep trying to find this source of awareness, you're doing it from some spot other than the source of awareness. This is how you notice, another way you can begin to notice the emptiness, right? It's awareness is already aware from all spots. So I want you to just step outside, step out into the free air, step outside the sense that awareness is coming from anywhere. And notice that awareness is already located everywhere. And that we're doing Vipassana on any sense of a center to awareness or a source to awareness or a spot where the flashlight of awareness is coming from. Instead, awareness is like a mist that is everywhere, all at once, already. Keep looking, keep investigating. The point is not to notice it once and then be like, cool, I noticed that, but notice it over and over and over and over until the sense that awareness is coming from any place in particular is eradicated, And if it comes back up as a habit, then you just quickly look and it will vanish and awareness will then be coming from everywhere again. Okay, so do this over and over again. Investigate any sense that awareness is coming from anywhere in particular over and over and over until it becomes the new habit that awareness is, that the sense that awareness is located everywhere, not anywhere in particular, but everywhere in particular, so to speak. everywhere in general. Keep going for a little while longer. Okay, good. Now that's our non-dual Vipassana section. What I want you to do at the end here is come back to just the sense of awareness itself. Awareness itself without a center. Awareness itself vast, limitless. Awareness itself perfectly still, absolutely immovable, like a giant mountain of diamond. Awareness itself, aware of itself by itself. I want you to come to a sense of openness, clarity, timelessness of awareness. Right, so we're dropping the ball again, essentially, coming back to just this non-dual awareness. And I want to read a quote. This is a translation from ancient Japanese, from Dogen Zenji, right? A Japanese Zen monk, very famous guy. And he says, he's going to use the word mind in here. And when he uses the word mind, he means it like non-dual awareness. I came to realize clearly that mind is no other than mountains and rivers and the great wide earth, the sun and the moon and the stars. So just to insert the word, I came to realize clearly that awareness itself is no other than the mountains and rivers and the great wide earth, the sun and the moon and the stars. Right? The whole universe is inside awareness. The sense of the world is inside awareness. The sense of your body is inside awareness. The sense of a personality or of a mind or of emotions or of being a being at all is inside awareness. Everything in experience is inside awareness, not the other way around. It's not that you are awareness located in a certain body, and that body's in a room, and that room is in the world. It's the other way around. The world and the room and the body and even the thoughts are all inside awareness. Let me just read that quote from Dogen again. I came to realize clearly that mind is no other than mountains and rivers and the great wide earth and the sun and the moon and the stars. Such a beautiful quote. Let's just sit with that. Being this vast awareness itself, aware of itself by itself, effortlessly, continuously, with tremendous clarity and gentleness. Notice it right now in your own experience. Everything is happening inside awareness. Your body is some sensations in awareness. Your thoughts are just some sensations in awareness. The room around you is just some sensations in awareness. This YouTube guided meditation is just some stuff arising in awareness. The whole world, the sun, the moon, the stars, the great wide earth, it's all just some stuff arising in awareness. Notice that right now in your own experience, not as a concept, as a direct experience. See it now. Notice it now. You are already awakened awareness. You don't have to become special or get some trick of the mind. Just notice it right now. It's not a trick. It's not something to figure out. It's your own experience right now. You are awakened, enlightened being itself right now. Notice it. If the thinking mind is trying to notice it, drop that. If it feels like attention's coming from any particular spot, drop that. This is awareness itself, noticing itself by itself. Do it now. Notice it now. If there's anything in your way that's just empty, it's not in your way. Notice awakening now. All right, boys and girls, or whatever you identify as, let's end that meditation now. Noticing that the meditation never ends because awareness itself never stops being aware. We're just ending the game we're playing, the meditation game we're playing. And now we'll talk about it. But notice that awareness itself doesn't change at all. So this is how we do non-dual Vipassana. Let me review how non-dual Vipassana is the main ways it's different than regular old dualistic Vipassana. So in dualistic Vipassana, typically people are doing it from a place located somewhere, aiming attention at an object and deconstructing that object, looking at its, for example, anicca, not the dukkha, right? It's impermanence, no self, and suffering quality. And that's great, but that's not how we do non-dual Vipassana. Non-dual Vipassana is awareness simply noticing. What is awareness noticing? Usually it's noticing the emptiness of whatever's arising, but it's not coming from a location. Okay? Awareness is already aware. It's not coming from a location. So we want to get rid of any sense that awareness is coming from a spot. If anything, when we're doing non-dual Vipassana, the awareness is seen as located in the sign, in the object it's looking at. Okay? But of course, that's not really happening. It's not located there specially. But it is also located there because it's located everywhere at once, right? But what's not happening and what we want to let go of is the sense that awareness is coming from a spot in the head or something and beaming down to whatever we're meditating on. The second thing is that we're typically, not always, but almost always using awareness in non-dual Vipassana to notice emptiness. There's an interesting relationship between emptiness and the three marks of existence. In the dualistic Vipassana, we're usually looking at the three marks of existence, right? Anicca, anatta, dukkha in the Pali language. So impermanence, no self-suffering. We can also look at dependent co-arising. We can, there's other things we can look at, but those are the typical three things in dualistic Vipassana. But they bear an interesting relationship to non-dual Vipassana, and the main one is that anatta quality. And if we remember, anatta in Pali or anatman in Sanskrit, that's that thing that's usually translated as no self in English. And that's just a terrible word, no self, because it makes it seem like what you're trying to prove is there is no self. There is no ego, but of course you have an ego. Of course it's there. It's just that it's empty, meaning it's a construction. It's a process. It's just another mind creation. It's not some kind of eternal soul. Okay? But it's there. So when we say no self in English, it's what we should be saying is empty self. But what's fascinating is that early Buddhism uses that word no self, and then it gets expanded in later Buddhism to mean nothing has a self. But it's kind of funny when you're saying, well, this watch doesn't have a sense of self. Like nobody thinks it does, right? And so they switch the word and they say, the watch is empty. Okay, the watch is empty, just like the sense of self is empty. So in other words, to put it in a funny way of talking, emptiness refers to the anatta, the no self quality of everything, of even objects. So it's a much more expanded concept, and it removes a lot of the confusion about what no self even means. It's much more accurate to say, instead of no self, say emptiness of self. The sense of self, of course, in a human being is there, and it should be there, and it should be strong, and it should be effective, and it should be useful and helpful and fun and interesting so people can interact with you, right? That's what a sense of self is. But it's not a self. It's not a thing that exists eternally. It's simply a process that's always continuously changing, right? So it's funny how this early Buddhist concept of anatta then gets expanded by Nagarjuna and other Buddhists in later Buddhism in order to become this concept of emptiness, which is actually kind of different. It's much more expanded and it's a non-dual concept. So these are ways that when we're coming from regular old dualistic Vipassana, a la Goenka, a la Mahasi, whatever, we have to remember we're doing something kind of different when we do non-dual Vipassana. It's still Vipassana in the sense that it's investigation. But how we're doing that investigation and what exactly we're looking for in that investigation is different in important ways that make a difference. Okay? So that's my polemic and my lecture for this evening. There is no April Fool's joke for tonight. The April Fool's joke is that I'm the April Fool. There is no joke. And what I'd like you to do is get in touch with your own foolishness, your own don't know mind, the sense that there is nobody there to really know anything permanently, totally, completely, right? And from that place of openness and ease and a kind of laughter at the cosmic joke, ask me questions now, particularly regarding non-dual Vipassana, but any other questions are fine. Mu says, I am not sure I get the difference between, I think you mean non-dual wide awareness meditation and this dropping the ball meditation. What you're asking, I'm going to translate what you said. Your question is, what's the difference between an open monitoring meditation and a non-dual dropping the ball meditation? It's very simple. Open monitoring, you are paying attention to the events in awareness. It's just very wide attention. Oh, there's a sound over here. I'm listening to the sound. Oh, there's a feeling in my belly. I'm feeling the belly. Oh, there's a thought in my mind. I'm paying attention. So it's just open monitoring, very wide attention. In dropping the ball, we are not paying attention to anything at all. Awareness is aware of itself, not the events, not the content of awareness, just the awareness. So it's a very big distinction. And I find people keep making this mistake of thinking what I want you to do in dropping the ball is some kind of open monitoring where you're paying attention broadly. No, you're not paying attention to anything. Awareness is aware of itself during dropping the ball. That's what it means to drop the ball, right? Think about it clearly. Open monitoring is actually grabbing the balls and paying attention to them. And I know grabbing the balls, grabbing onto the balls. Just picture a little dachshund grabbing onto a ball and growling one at a time in kind of a loose, open way. But it's still, there's grabbing the ball of attention on a sound, grabbing the ball of attention on a thought, grabbing the ball of attention on a body sensation. It's open monitoring is continuously paying attention in a broad way to events. What we're doing in dropping the ball is the opposite of that. We are not paying, we're letting go of all that. That's why it's called dropping the ball. Instead of the little dachshund holding onto the ball, he drops the ball, not paying attention to it. Awareness is aware of awareness itself only. Okay, it's very different. It's very different. Danny Boyo says, I found the Vipassana on the self to be not the self, sense of self, to be the most challenging because I still feel like I'm the one directing attention. Advice? Yes, my advice is to keep doing the meditation until that sense of self is seen to be empty. That's all. You just keep going. Zik N, could you further explain what empty is? Is it just the fact that everything changes? The fact that everything changes is called impermanence. And in a way, we could say that's an aspect of emptiness, but it's not what emptiness is. Emptiness, the easiest way to understand emptiness is it means that everything arising in awareness is a construction in awareness. It's a mind creation. Another way to explain emptiness is that it means it is like a dream. It's not that it's not there. It's not that there's nothing. It's that the thing that is there is a construction. It is not some kind of essence. Okay? And it's once you get the idea, it's very easy to notice. Let me give you an example. Let's say you were having a dream, and in that dream you noticed a very beautiful flower. Are you having an experience of a flower in that moment? Yes. That's why it's not nothing. There's an experience of a flower in that dream. However, does that flower have some kind of permanent essence that is there? No, it's a total mind creation. And in this way of meditating, the whole world is seen as a mind creation. It doesn't mean there's not really a world out there, but your experience of it is a mind creation. Okay? That's what emptiness is. Chris Jordan Talks Photography asks, can this non-dual Vipassana practice lead to the experience they call cessation in Theravada practice? Yes, but we don't care about cessations. What we want it to lead to is continuous dwelling as awake awareness, which is the opposite of a cessation, right? We're continuously awake rather than vanishing. This is why it's super important to understand that non-dual practice in Vajrayana style meditation is doing something very different than Theravada practice. Very, very different. It's the opposite. We're not trying to disappear. We're trying to notice that we are continuously awake awareness. Ian McInnes, why are thoughts so sticky? They're not, right? They're only sticky because we're playing the game of incarnation. And when you start to notice that the only way you know you're thinking is because thinking is arising in awareness right now, instantly the thoughts become less sticky. And then if you actually do non-dual Vipassana on the thoughts, you'll notice they're not sticky at all. They're just things that are going through and vanishing. So you know what, Ian? They're not. Check it out for yourself. Let's see what else is going on here. Ramit, keeping eyes open, looking at the ground the whole time has been really effective. I felt like I was looking through all of experience, no one at home anywhere. Yeah. Again, think about it. In early Buddhism, in Theravada, we're keeping our eyes closed. Why? Because in a way, we're trying to leave the world, right? That's what nirvana is. It's nowhere in this world. And so there's a sense of closing everything off and going in. But in non-dual Vipassana, the idea is we're trying to engage with the world because this world is nirvana. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere to leave. It's already right here, right now. So why not have your eyes open and just engage? So even having your eyes open really helps. It's not that you must have them open. You can sit with your eyes closed, but it does kind of help with the awareness stuff. Lots of interesting comments and thanks and appreciation in the live chat. So thank you. I appreciate all your hard work and engagement and questions. It's a very cool. Arthur, hi Arthur. Does non-dual Vipassana open us into the ground of being? What is the relationship of this to the ground of being? Remember, the ground of being is what you already are. However, sometimes it gets occluded, right? It's like it's sort of not obvious. And so non-dual Vipassana is cutting through those occlusions. It's cutting through the clouds. It's cutting through the delusion. It's cutting through any sense that we're anything other than this infinite awareness. And thus, yes, bringing us back to the ground of being. So in a way of looking at it, it's the activity of the ground of being. Let's see what else is going on here. What is your opinion on the value of Nundro practice? Oh, I don't know. So for those of you who don't know what Nundro is, it's in really traditional Tibetan Vajrayana. Before you can do any of the more advanced practices, you spend about 2,000 or 3,000 years doing mantras and doing prostrations, like full out on the ground, and doing ritual and stuff. For some people, that's very important and effective. For other people, it's a total waste of time. So my opinion is, if you're in a tradition where Nundro is made a big deal and where you personally feel a connection. I mean, I did 1,000 or 10,000 years of mantra practice. I loved it. I like mantra practice. I did not do Nundra. I was in Hindu Tantra, but we were still doing that, like, hundreds of thousands of repetitions of mantras and lots of puja and stuff. So it's not like I'm against those things, but you have to be into it for it to have value. If you're just grinding through it, don't bother. It's not doing anything. It must be engaged with a lot of heart. And you can, in my opinion, you can still do all these more advanced practices, still do non-dual practice without Nundra. Evan Hubbard asks, does too much Theravada Vipassana practice impede progress or capability of practicing Vajrayana style? No, it doesn't. I think it's a stepping stone. What does impede is if you can't remember that you're doing something different now, and that we're coming from a different set of assumptions when we're doing Vajrayana style practice, non-dual practice. We're coming from a different set of assumptions. We're coming from a different worldview, and our goals are different. And so that's the main thing. Your Theravada practice really helps, right? If you did a lot of it, it's going to really help as long as you can understand that what you're trying to do now is different. But of course, the ability to concentrate and the purity of your mind and all the stuff you learned, that's there, that's good. But we also have to unlearn the framework around Theravada. That's the hard part. Sean McCarthy asks, I felt like there was a lot of dukkha present today. Does that mean I need to drop the ball more, or should we not expect dukkha to go away during these non-dual meditations? What I would say is the more that you see the emptiness of the dukkha, the more it will not feel like dukkha anymore. The more you feel the emptiness of whatever's arising, one of the ways you know the emptiness is working is that you will feel relief. There is less dukkha happening. Okay. Ramit is being a guru there in the live chat. Thank you, Sri Maramitji, for your wisdom. I'm sure everyone is happy to hear that. Scott, ground of being is empty, yes? Scott, this is one of those questions that even the deepest non-dual scholars of all time fight about, is, the ground of being empty. If you're in certain traditions, like the Gelugpa tradition, absolutely, it's totally empty. Even emptiness is empty, awareness is empty, blah, blah, blah. Other traditions are like, no, awareness is the one thing that is not empty. And here's what's interesting. A lot of these people meditated from the time they were teenagers till the time they were 90 years old, and they never agreed about whether awareness itself, the ground of being, is empty or not. It depends on the tradition. How can they not agree? Right? Well, so here's what I will say. There's no right answer to that question, and that's the real answer. You can lean into the emptiness of awareness, and you will notice it's empty and intermittent. But if you lean into the continuity of awareness, you'll notice it's continuous. You can lean into either side of that and notice either way. And I strongly recommend trying both, and then understanding that it is both. And that anyone thinking they have a final answer to that is probably being more doctrinal than really talking about their own experience. Vindharma, who has the nice Tibetan syllable as a little icon there. What practice do you recommend for developing compassion with emptiness or for developing bodhicitta? In my experience, the non-locality of the ground of being itself brings a sense of compassion because we're connected, right? As soon as the non-duality is there, there's no separation between anything. As soon as the non-locality of awareness is there, the idea that awareness is everywhere, then all beings are in awareness. There's no separation of any kind. You'll find the more you practice that, it's really hard to set yourself up as like this person over here, against that being over there. It just gets really a lot harder. However, if you want to practice compassion, particularly like do it as a practice, my main recommendation is to get up off the cushion and go do something for somebody that they want, right? Do unto others. So in other words, the best compassion practice is to go feed somebody who's starving, or build somebody a house, or give money to, an organization that does those things. Do something real in the world right now that relieves the suffering of actual beings, of human beings, of animals. My God, the suffering of animals is so intense. Do something real in the world. That's the best compassion practice. Don't just sit on your cushion thinking about it. Okay, now there's more questions coming, but we have to end in a minute, so I'm going to shut down the questions right now. There's a few things I want to remind you of. One is the Discord server for these meditations. Join the Discord server. You'll see the link in the live chat if you're here live. Later, we'll have a more permanent link in the comments on the recorded video. But right now, go to the Discord server. Katie put it in there. We're having discussions there. We're talking about these meditations. We're organizing the meditations. There's off-topic channels. There's general channels, So I'd love to see you all there. Hopefully the names are recognizable, so it's the same names as in the live chat. That would be nice. So that's one thing. Discord server. Another thing is this month, there's no Death Sangha. I've just got too much going on. My apologies. There's also a Death Sangha channel in the Discord server, but we can't do one this month. So if you really want to do Death Sangha for April, do the recorded ones that are on YouTube here. Another thing is that remember that these guided meditations on this YouTube channel are brought to you by the San Francisco Dharma Collective, and that they and I work together to bring these, and they and I bring them free to you. They're absolutely free to the world, right? Every week we're here bringing you free guided meditations, and SFDC does even more. They bring you many, many more teachers all week long, great teachers who I adore. And so please consider giving to SFDC if you have money to give. Again, we love something that makes me happier than anything. If I wake up in the middle of the night, one of the things that makes me happy, is that these meditations are free. Anyone, anywhere can just get on YouTube and do these meditations, and not just mine, but the meditations of all the other people from SFDC, right? They're free. So don't feel like you have to give anything. I like giving them away for free. SFDC likes giving them away for free. But if you have a lot of spare cash, we just had a new all-time high on Bitcoin last week, right? If you just have all this money coming out your ears, then give some money to SFDC. Say you're giving it because of Michael Taft's guided meditation on YouTube. SFDC will split that money with me. I will use it to help create many more programs. SFDC will use it to help create many more programs with many more teachers. That would be great. I want to remind you of Psychedelic Sangha, my good friend Eric Davis, who is a fucking genius and really funny and a great human being. I love this person. He is teaching Psychedelic Sangha this Saturday about Walt Whitman, one of my favorite poets, one of America's actually homegrown saints, right? This person clearly was having some kind of very deep spiritual experience and wrote really cool poems about it. All right, so that's it for tonight. Katie, quickly remind me if there's anything else I'm forgetting. But I don't think there is. Come to other SFTC events, hop on our Discord server, join. The reason I put up the Discord server is that I want this group to be a sangha, right? So it's not just guided meditations on YouTube or a live chat. We actually get a chance to really talk on the Discord server and in the various channels and get to engage these questions more deeply. And I get to hear more feedback from you about what's going on and so on. And with that, dear friends, I bid you adieu.